But guys, the name of this show is going to be the Brown New Deal. Now, of course, everybody's heard about the Green New Deal, but there's a dirty side to the Green New Deal. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, guys. We're going to talk about turning waste into watts. And guys, this is going to be our shittiest show. Now, a lot of you are going to say, wait, Rich, you can't use that kind of language on TV. Guys, if Allstate can use that kind of language in a Super Bowl commercial, then Uncle Rich can use that kind of language on Community Action TV. So, Judy, clip number 02.
And you got... What? It happens. And you got...
Volume.
What? It happens.
Kurt, volume. All right. So anyway, guys, now, you can hear it. And I got to be honest with you. The first time I saw that commercial, I was in shock. I said, I can't believe that this type of language is going to be permitted on the mainstream media. So guys, before we go any further, let's get them all out so we get it all off the table. We're going to have terms like shit happens, shit to shinola, holy shit, my shit don't stink, and the ever-present, always comparable bullshit. So, Judy, when you watch Fox TV, you're going to see a lot of bullshit. And guys, the one thing we want to do on this show is show power to the poopers. Now, guys, we said that Allstate had a commercial in the Super Bowl. Well, also, GE had a commercial during the Super Bowl. And guys, it was about biogas. And I'll bet you a lot of people, it went right past you and you missed the message. So we're going to show it to you now. So Judy, clip number 3, please.
At GE, we're using biogas technology to create energy using organic waste from sources like landfills, compost, and even cows. It's something any fan of renewable energy can get excited about.
Imagination at work. Guys, that's what it takes. It takes imagination. But you know who has no imagination? Judge Janine. And guys, let's show you how unimaginative you have to be if you're one of the simple folk and somebody wants to talk you out of the Green New Deal, which we're going to turn into the Brown New Deal for today. But Judy, let's have clip number 04. And at the end, keep it up for a second, Judy, but let's listen to how Judge Janine, one of my favorite Foxtitudes, tricks the simple folk. Number 4, Judy. Number 4, Judy.
And the methane gas produced by the bovine flatulence contributes to the greenhouse gases that contributes to global warming. Need I say more?
Need you say more? With a picture like that, Judge Janine, you don't have to say anything, because the people that watch Fox News, that's all they need. That's all they need to see. And that'll be forever embellished in their mind. And guys, this is what they'll think of. And they'll never think about the practical things. Because why? Because a lot of the simple folks that watch Fox don't know shit from shinola. And Judy, let's prove my point with clip number 5, please.
Now that you're going out into the world, there's something you should know. You see that? Yeah. That's shit. And this is shinola.
Shit. Shinola.
Son, you're gonna be all right. Hey, what town are you gonna try for first?
Son, you're gonna be all right. Guys, when I was growing up, I heard that so many times. But you know what? We can always have some fun with the people that watch Fox. And guys, all it takes is a simple cartoon like number 6. So Judy, can you put up the still for number 6, please? This is all it takes to convince a guy like Kenny Johnson or Uncle Joey that global warming isn't real, you know? All right, but anyway, Judy, come back to me. And guys, you know, we're going to forge ahead because with global warming and with the Green New Deal, the most important thing is the science. So guys, the next clip, we're going to show you how we rely on science to be able to prove what we're going to do and how we have to have the government get their act together and stop denying what's in front of us. So Judy, let's have clip number 7, please.
The Green New Deal put forward directly named agriculture and farming as places where there could be more cuts to carbon emissions. What can be done?
On our farm, we're capturing the livestock manure and putting it into an anaerobic digester, which turns the solids within the manure into a gas called methane gas. We burn that gas in a generator to generate electricity.
And so these cows are essentially creating electricity for an entire community of people.
That's correct, yep.
What would be your message to Washington when they're discussing the Green New
What
Deal
would be your
and the
message
opportunities
to
available?
Washington?
Well, I would ask them to try to make science-based decisions and make sure they have a command of all the facts before they do anything that's too drastic.
Command of all the facts. And guys, how do you get command of all the facts? With scientists. And we're going to show you that as well. We're going to show you how a science process and how agriculture becomes more renewable and sustainable. So Judy, clip number 8, please.
For biological systems engineers like Rick Stoll and Crystal Powers, finding ways to utilize what might otherwise be waste is a science process that helps make agriculture more sustainable.
In each step of the process, from growing your forages and grains for your livestock to feeding the animal to within the manure, how do we capture as much energy in each step? And anaerobic digesters fit in there because we're figuring out how to get more energy out of that manure before it's ultimately used as fertilizer.
More energy from manure. Guys, we're going to show you the whole cycle, and I'm telling you, by the end of the show tonight, you're going to go, I never realized this. And God, I tell you, I never realized it. But now we're going to show you pig poop. But guys, I'm telling you, this guy is big on pig poop. And when you see the whole clip, and remember guys, you know, we play the short versions of the clip at the beginning of the show. We play the full version at the second half. So if there's something that really strikes your fancy, you know, on YouTube, you can fast forward to it. All right, so anyway, let's have some fun with pig poop and number 9. Judy?
Manure collected in a pit is common at hog operations, but what happens in this pit is not. This 14-foot deep, airtight metal tank is called a methane digester.
A methane
The raw manure
digester
goes down to the digester where we've got bacteria, lots of bacteria. And what the bacteria does is actually breaks the manure down and it comes out liquid. Every day I feed about a quarter of a pit to the digester, and every day the hogs replace it. That is renewable.
So guys, every day the hogs replace what he uses. Hey, what could be more renewable? What could be more sustainable? Now you're starting to talk my language. And when you see the money that these guys can make from turning this into electricity, but guys, there's also some other social benefits. And one of them is that after manure goes through a digester, it doesn't stink anymore. So guys, it's safe to say that your shit don't stink. So Judy, let's prove my point with clip 10, please.
70% of our electricity that we use on farm we now generate ourselves, and then we'll sell the excess to the grid. Our generator is 1,000 kW, and so that is equivalent to powering 425 homes.
425
After the
homes.
digester,
Thank you,
the
cows.
leftover water is used as fertilizer and sprayed into the fields, while the excess solids are converted into cow bedding.
Once that manure goes to the digester, it does not smell like manure anymore. That's a huge social benefit. Can't put a dollar value on that, but our neighbors like us a lot more now that our, what doesn't stink.
And guys, we're going to have fun with that later. But the social benefit is their shit doesn't stink. And guys, speaking of smelling, the next clip we're going to show you where human waste, I know this gets a little heavy, but where human waste has the sweet smell of success. So Judy, number 11, please.
There is another source of biogas sitting right under our noses.
This is what 8 million gallons of sewage a day looks like.
Yes, human waste can also be turned into power. We're at the wastewater treatment plant in Grand Junction, Colorado, and that distinctive smell of sewage is starting to smell like money to manager Dan Tonello.
Hey guys, they're making money, and we're going to show you how they do it. But methane has a dark side. And this is this is the bad part. And this is really what we want to try to eliminate, because methane is a gas, I'm telling you, it's 84 times more potent than CO2. So it's a greenhouse gas that's a lot. We just got to get rid of it, and we're going to show you some more ideas. But guys, this is the dark side of methane now with clip number 12, Judy.
It's like a buffet for the manure connoisseur.
The manure connoisseur.
The dirty, dark side of working with these adorable Holsteins is the enormous logistical challenge of dealing with
Kurt,
waste.
can I get a little volume?
Slutsky considers himself an environmentally conscious guy, so he worries about all the methane produced as that manure breaks down.
And the whole methane thing and greenhouse gases, all of that is more important to many in our industry.
If only he lived about 50 miles southeast. This is Heartland Biogas, a new facility bringing in truckload after truckload of manure from nearby dairies.
Truckload of manure. And guys, I'm telling you, there's money in manure. And the next clip is going to be one of the factual ones that we're going to show you. We're going to show you 2 clips from Ted. So Judy, let's have clip number 13, and it's a clip that'll explain how potent. Go ahead, hit it, Judy.
Every ton of garbage we throw away emits methane. And in fact, it creates 1 ton of garbage creates 2 tons of greenhouse gas in the form of methane. Methane is 84 times more potent, a short-term greenhouse gas, than carbon dioxide. That's a
84
huge problem.
times.
And in fact, landfills are the largest man-made source of methane going into our atmosphere. So what can we do about it?
So what can we do about it? Guys, one of the things that we can do about it is we can put up a satellite that can detect methane. So Judy, let's see what some of the solutions are. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is the Number 14 with methane satellite is going up in 2022, I think, but don't quote me on that. But let's see. You know, since you can't see it, methane can be a real problem. And we can't see it, but there's cameras that can, and obviously that satellite can see it. So Judy, let's take a look at what methane looks like with a special camera. Number 15, please.
The leak started in October.
Look at
so
this,
far,
guys.
more than
That's
6,500 families have filed for help, but only 2,200 have been relocated. The state agency that monitors air quality estimates nearly 70,000 pounds of gas is being released every hour. That's roughly a quarter of the methane emissions in California.
Guys, when you see what the methane gas has done to this neighborhood, like my daughter says, you're going to throw up in your mouth. I mean, it's sad. It's sad. And that's why, you know, we've really got to get rid of methane. And guys, there's some entrepreneurs, and we're going to show you one, and this guy's from Cuba. And, you know, like I said, he's an entrepreneur, and look at what he came up with to help his friends and neighbors. So Judy, number 16, please.
Went one step further, installing a
Woo-hoo.
Chinese-built biogas system to produce renewable energy as well, piping it directly to his home. It was so successful that the volume of fuel produced far exceeded his needs, but the cost of piping it to his neighbors was prohibitive. Then, at a local tomato pulp processing factory, he came across these large, hermetically sealed plastic bags.
Look at this, guys. Look at this.
They're
Look at
tough
that
and
bag.
heat-resistant, and there's no need to compress the gas. They take about half an hour to fill, and each bag provides enough energy for 2 days cooking for a family of 4.
Now, guys, okay, all right. Is the light starting to go off? Now we're going to show you a product that just became available, and look at the gas container on this home product. And guys, I want to tell you, when I first learned about this, it blew me away. So we're going to introduce you to home biogas. So Judy, and guys, look at what a beautiful job they've done. Look how simple it is, and look at the size of the gas bag on top of the digester. So Judy, number 17, please.
Installation is now simpler. Just fill the digester with water.
You fill it with water.
Mount the gas container using the supplied sandbag.
That's the gas container.
And you're ready to go.
So those
2.0 version is 50% more productive,
those 4
easier
top
to maintain,
layers are all
and
gas.
super durable. We've also added a home biogas stove to give you the perfect solution. An average family produces about 2 liters of waste a day. Why should organic waste go into giant polluting landfills when it can go back into nature? Home Biogas 2.0 can now produce up to 3 hours of cooking gas per day, more than enough for an average family.
You know, guys, I always feel so guilty when I'm scraping off the plate in the garbage. Well, now you scrape off the plate into this thing, and it makes cooking gas. Hey, it might not be, you know, appropriate for everybody, but I'm sure, you know, a lot of people would really get into a product like this. But guys, now we're going to go to the full-length segment of the show, where we're going to play all the short clips in the longer version. So let's see. We're going to start with number 27, which is science, which is based on decisions, guys. So, Judy, let's have clip number 27, please.
Cattle ranch in Amana, Iowa. Vaughn, a sector potentially impacted by this deal would, of course, be agriculture. Walk us through some of the key points of the Green New Deal that would affect farmers and what these farmers are saying about it.
Exactly. Good morning, Craig. The Green New Deal is still very much of a general resolution, right? There's not much in the form of specifics, but why are we here in Iowa on a cattle operation right now? Well, it's because the line that has been used by Republicans consistently over these last weeks to cut across and try to take down the Green New Deal and the idea of it has been this this idea of the elimination of, quote, farting cows. The president made reference to it in his rally in El Paso last week. Mitch McConnell has as well. If you get a fundraising email from Republicans, you've also probably heard that Democrats want to eliminate, quote, farting cows. So what is the reality? Where did that come from? Well, it was from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's office. They released a Q&A in which they made reference that they probably are unlikely to eliminate cows, which do release methane. But that goes into the question, what is the actual impact? What is the reality? Well, number one, the Green New Deal, to note, is just a resolution. It makes no mention of the elimination of cows. Instead, it speaks generally about working with farmers and working with the agricultural industry to cut down on carbon emissions. The ag industry in the U.S. is responsible for about 8% of the carbon emissions released into the air. And so I want to, though, introduce you here to John McGrath, because the farmers that you talk to, they are very specific that they, better than anybody, are very much environmentalists. A lot of these folks have had farms for generations. I want to play you a little bit of an interview, though, because he'll tell you one of the steps that he and his operation have taken. The Green New Deal put forward directly named agriculture and farming as places where there could be more cuts to carbon emissions. What can be done?
On our farm, we're capturing the livestock manure and putting it into an anaerobic digester, which turns the solids within the manure into a gas called methane gas. We burn that gas in a generator to generate electricity.
And so these cows are essentially creating electricity for an entire community of people.
That's correct, yep.
What would be your message to Washington when they're discussing the Green New Deal and the opportunities available?
Well, I would ask them to try to make science-based decisions and make sure they have a command of all the facts before they do anything that's too drastic.
So, Craig, what you just heard from John there, to give you an idea, these cows here, you've got several thousand that they do their thing. Essentially, they release the stuff from their body. It goes through slats underneath the ground. There's then a pump that then pumps the manure over here into that digester is what they've called it. There's 3 of these in Iowa, and inside of that operation, essentially the manure, the methane is extracted from the manure and then converted into electricity, which essentially it's the electricity for all of Amana, which has 1,400 people, and also generates the electricity for Whirlpool, a manufacturing plant down the road. And for fact's sake, Fred, we should note about the idea of farting cows. Number one, the methane released from cows comes more from belching than it does farting. And the methane release in terms of the overall makeup for the agricultural industry, just about 10% of belching is responsible for methane release. If that makes, hopefully, some sense, Craig.
I've learned a lot, Paul Hilliard. I have learned a lot, as has America. Thank you so much for all of that on belching and farting cows.
And guys, we got a lot more to learn because I tell you, as the show goes on, you're going to see, you know, not only is this beneficial, but also, you know, this can be profitable. But most importantly, the way to address this is to look at this as a science process. You know, you want to make everything renewable and sustainable, and we need kids in college that understand the science, that can teach the science to the farmers so everybody benefits. So, Judy, let's have clip number 28, please.
They're creating greenhouse gases, actually creating a very potent greenhouse gas, so you don't want that to escape. And so it's really important to capture as much of that methane as you can.
For biological systems engineers like Rick Stoll and Crystal Powers, finding ways to utilize what might otherwise be waste is a science process that helps make agriculture more sustainable.
In each step of the process, from growing your forages and grains for your livestock to feeding the animal to within the manure, how do we capture as much energy in each step? And anaerobic digesters fit in there because we're figuring out how to get more energy out of that manure before it's ultimately used as fertilizer.
Livestock manure is used as fertilizer for crop agriculture. Methane-free manure is too. And Cluthe says it removes the odor many find offensive. In a lab at the University of Nebraska, scientists are examining what happens to the manure at different stages in Cluthy's process.
These samples are from the pit, which are essentially green, raw manure, very little treatment. Then the next step is after it's been digested through the anaerobic digester, which is a basic flow of treatment at the Cluthy site.
We're asking them to look at solids content, the organic matter, how that's breaking down. That would tell us how well the digester is performing. And then we're also very interested in what's the likelihood of gases coming off that would cause odors. And the assumption is that the digester is going to break down those and reduce the likelihood of odorous gases and other undesired gases coming off.
Now all of the fluent that goes down the lagoon is odorless. So really it's just kind of nice, pretty lake out there.
At Cluthy's hog operation, he can still use the manure waste as fertilizer after capturing the methane as fuel. He likes that the digester helps him be a good neighbor and produce electricity, a win-win situation for his farm budget and the environment.
We've got a track record and now we've got something that, you know, other producers can come and look at and say, wow.
It's a costly endeavor. Cluthy could only make happen with grants totaling tens of thousands of dollars. That's one of the barriers confronting other livestock producers wanting to duplicate Cluthy's operation. But Cluthy wants more improvements. Soon, he'll install a scrubber that will remove impurities from methane and propane. The digester and scrubber technologies could have a big payback. Cluthy estimates these improvements could eliminate his annual energy costs of $30,000.
$30,000.
I'm excited about the fact that we'll be able to heat our barns, dry our corn, whatever we use propane for now, we're going to be using methane. And will this solve our oil crisis? Probably not, but it's a piece of the puzzle.
Guys, it's a piece of the puzzle, and that's all you can ask for. And with the next clip, we're going to go in even further. So, Judy, clip number 9, please, and we'll a little more on the pig poop.
Welcome to Dodge, Nebraska. Here, Danny Cluthy runs a hog farm in a region where pigs outnumber people 10 to 1. And that creates an environmental impact. The waste of hogs and other farm animals create high levels of the greenhouse gas methane. Methane can last more than a decade in the air, 20 times more powerful than carbon dioxide in warming the atmosphere. But Cluthy is taking steps to make his farm an environmental game changer.
My job is to get them little pigs fat and get them to market.
The piglets weigh about 12 pounds when they come to Cluthy's facility. 5 or 6 months later, he's raised them to market weight at 250 pounds apiece.
These hogs are treated better than humans. I mean, their diet is to a T for their age. Fresh water, fresh air. They sleep with a grin on their face.
With about 7,500 hogs, a lot goes into fattening them up. That means there's a lot that comes out of them, too. It's manure, and that's where Cluthy's operation is unlike any other in Nebraska.
What I really call this thing is a manure processing system with a byproduct being electricity.
Hogs create an average of more than a gallon of manure each day. All told, Cluthy's hogs generate over 9,000 gallons, enough to fill a gas tanker every day of the year. Down the hill from the hog barn is a pit. An underground pipe system uses gravity, so the manure flows downhill. Manure collected in a pit is common at hog operations, but what happens in this pit is not. This 14-foot deep, airtight metal tank is called a methane digester.
The raw manure goes down to the digester where we've got bacteria, lots of bacteria. And what the bacteria does is actually breaks the manure down, and it comes out liquid. Every day I feed about a quarter of a pit to the digester, and every day the hogs replace it. That is renewable.
The digester is heated to about 100 degrees. That's ideal for the bacteria to break down the manure and release methane gas, a process that takes about 3 weeks. The pit traps the methane in its oxygen-free environment. Cluthy then uses the methane as a fuel to run the farm's utilities.
The methane gas gets sucked up here to the cat engine that's running a generator. It runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I always say this cat engine just purrs on this methane.
The Caterpillar engine sits in this small building. Designed to use methane or propane as fuel, the engine produces electricity, which is put on the electrical grid, completing the manure to electricity process. Nebraska Public Power buys electricity from Cluthy's family company, Olean Energy, at a wholesale price.
We actually make enough electricity here to take care of about 45 to 50 homes a year. I would use about 20% of the production and sell 80%. For a byproduct, we actually got a lot of electricity here. Anybody in Cumming County that turns their lights on doesn't know the difference whether it's coming from Cooper Nuclear or Olean Energy.
And guys, that's it. I mean, electricity doesn't matter where it comes from. Of course, it's a lot better off if you get it not from a nuclear power plant, because, you know, what could possibly go wrong with them, right? But the next clip we're going to show, we're going to go back to the cow farm in Florida, and we're going to show you how well they did with poop to power and the fact that their poop doesn't stink. So Judy, number 30, please.
That's exactly what you think it is. It's poop.
Ay, ay, ay.
At this farm, manure is money. One of Florida's largest dairies is turning it into energy.
Manure is not a waste here. The cow is the ultimate recycler. She makes milk, and as she's making milk, she's making manure. That manure is then used as fertilizer to grow crops that we harvest and then feed back to her. One area where we weren't capturing the value is the methane production that can occur if you put manure into a digester.
A digester collects and converts manure into methane. Basically, it turns it into natural gas. Alliance has been turning their poop into power since 2012. Here's how it works.
Wow.
Recycled water flushes manure from the barn into this central pool. It's filtered before heading underground for the next 21 days.
It's about 7 million gallons of wastewater from the dairy at any one point in time. So it's extremely large. Matter of fact, if you actually kind of open it up, you could lay a football field inside of the digester.
Wow.
70% of our electricity that we use on farm we now generate ourselves, and then we'll sell the excess to the grid. Our generator is 1,000 kW, and so that is equivalent to powering 425 homes.
After the digester, the leftover water is used as fertilizer and sprayed into the fields, while the excess solids are converted into cow bedding.
Once that manure goes to the digester, it does not smell like manure anymore. That's a huge social benefit. You can't put a dollar value on that, but our neighbors like us a lot more now that our you-know-what doesn't stink.
But it's not cheap. This system cost over $6 million with the help of a government grant.
Alliance has the saying that we try to do everything in-house. We have our own shop where we do all of our mechanicking, so we kind of are a one-stop shop.
a shop where recycling manure is worth the money.
Where it's worth the money to recycle the manure, right, guys? And on the next clip, we're going to show you the human waste to watts, and the fact when you see what they're able to do with the gas that they generate, you're going to go, aha, now you're starting to speak my language. So Judy, clip number 31, please.
But there is another source of biogas sitting right under our noses.
This is what 8 million gallons of sewage a day looks like.
Yes, human waste can also be turned into power. We're at the wastewater treatment plant in Grand Junction, Colorado, and that distinctive smell of sewage is starting to smell like money to manager Dan Tonello. The plant has had a digester for decades, but most of the methane used to be flared off into the air.
Not good for the environment and a waste of a wonderful resource.
So the city spent just under $3 million for the natural gas refining equipment, and rather than just putting it into a pipeline or generating electricity with it, Tonello had another idea.
In the evening when the trucks are done with their routes, they hook up, fill up.
Grand Junction has been replacing an aging fleet of garbage trucks and buses with natural gas vehicles, fueled mostly by the human-sourced gas from the treatment plant. Tonello says Grand Junction is the first city in the nation to do that.
We're looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars a year being saved by implementing this process.
That's a model for small wastewater treatment plants anywhere in the country.
Joanna Underwood works with Energy Vision, an environmental group which promotes the use of this renewable natural gas. She says using biogas to run a fleet of vehicles is the most efficient way to use a digester.
Every time you convert a bus fleet or a refuse truck fleet or a produce delivery fleet to renewable natural gas, you've had a huge impact.
Because more often than not, those natural gas vehicles are replacing older, more polluting diesel trucks. Underwood says if all the organic waste in the country were gathered from dairies, food producers, and sewage plants, current technologies could produce enough natural gas to replace about half of the diesel fuel used in the U.S. transportation sector. And wastewater treatment plants could provide as much as 12% of the nation's electricity, turning waste into a serious powerhouse. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Dan Boyce reporting from Grand Junction, Colorado.
All right, so you're starting to get the idea, right? The new, the brown New Deal is starting to become appealing, isn't it? And on the next clip we're going to do is more or less, let's see, the next one is waste to watts, and this is going to be, you know, also has to deal with methane and the production. And guys, this is the one thing we really want to try to keep away from is methane. So Judy, let's have clip number 32, please. Waste
now,
to
a
watts.
unique look
I
at a
love it.
completely different kind of power, the potential of organic waste as a renewable energy source. A fair warning of sorts for those of you either preparing or eating dinner, given the subject matter. Public Media's Inside Energy and Rocky Mountain PBS Dan Boyce explains.
John Slutsky has been milking cows since the early 1980s. His professional life rising and falling with what his livestock excrete. And not just from their udders.
It's like a buffet for the manure connoisseur.
Manure. The dirty, dark side of working with these adorable Holsteins is the enormous logistical challenge of dealing with waste. Slutsky considers himself an environmentally conscious guy, so he worries about all the methane produced as that manure breaks down.
And the whole methane thing and greenhouse gases, all of that is more important to many in our industry.
If only he lived about 50 miles southeast. This is Heartland Biogas, a new facility bringing in truckload after truckload of manure from nearby dairies. All of the buildings and pools here add up to what's called a digester.
You know, you can think of the digester the same as your own guts, if you can.
So this is where all the cow poop
The cow poop ends up right here.
Bob Yost is showing me around Heartland. What's brought in gets liquefied, cooked up, and mixed together, speeding up the production of methane. And here, they actually want methane. With a little more refining, that methane becomes chemically identical to the natural gas drilled from underground. The gas produced here goes straight into a pipeline on site, just like any other natural gas.
It's injected into the pipeline, and then it's delivered to anywhere in the country.
Destructive greenhouse gases that would be escaping into the atmosphere anyway, going to good use. Dairy farms have been building digesters for years, but the technology is advancing and diversifying. It turns out the way to get the most methane from your digester is to have a mixture of manure and food scraps.
I got the turkey bacon guac burger.
That's where restaurants like Denver's Park Burger come in.
We do have a couple of gray recycling bins as well as bins with no bag, which is our composting setup.
General Manager TJ McReynolds pays a little bit more for composting services on top of his trash bill.
Paying more for
He thought it would all end up as mulch somewhere.
Never once had I even considered it being used for natural gas.
Hundreds of Colorado restaurants, schools, and groceries have begun sending their scraps to Heartland.
There could be 25, 30 semi-loads per day eventually of food waste coming in, and then the manure is added to that.
The company Yost works with, A1 Organics, coordinates the delivery of all that food waste. It comes in all types, a lot of it still in packaging.
Well, this had sweet tea in it.
Luckily, this machine at the digester can tear all that apart to get to the valuable organics
How does
inside.
it separate everything? That's
Unfortunately,
what I want to know.
all of this is a prospect tantalizingly out of reach for Slutsky. His farm is too far from the Heartland facility and too small to build his own primitive digester, which really only makes financial sense for operations with 2,000 cows or more. Slutsky has 1,500.
But we have a business to run, and it's not going to do us any good if we build a digester and go out of business.
It's a tough position to be in, big enough to have to deal with mounds and mounds of manure, too small to make any money off it. It's where most American dairies find themselves, their methane remaining wasted. But there is another source of biogas sitting right under our noses.
So guys, like he said, you know, I can't build a digester and go out of business. Well, this is where the Brown New Deal comes in. You know, the government should be able to help him. And by helping him to finance a digester, look at the amount of people you're going to put to work. And look how you're going to get the money back. So it's a win-win situation. But, you know, with the methane, once again, until people can really see something, it's hard to explain it. And the next clip is we're going to show you that satellite and how the satellite is going to pinpoint all the problems. And then we're going to show you a clip to show you really how bad methane can affect a community. So Judy, let's have a clip from, this is TED Talks, guys, number 33, please. Guys, there's going to be no more hiding. No more. If you produce methane, the satellite's going to pick it up. And I mean, the average homeowner has nothing to worry about. But there's a lot of people that are going to want to make a difference. Well, we're going to get to that in a minute. But the next clip, we're going to show you how the job that CBS did and the people in this town, what they went through with the methane gas leak, and how this satellite's going to be able to pick it up so that nobody can deny it. So Judy, clip number, this is 35 now. Clip number 35, please. Good.
A slow-motion environmental disaster in California where a torrent of methane gas is spewing into the air. Thousands have been relocated. Maria Villarreal is in Porter Ranch.
This infrared video shows gas rolling off the top of a nearby ridge down into the community of Porter Ranch. It was shot by a law firm representing several homeowners who are now filing lawsuits against Southern California's gas utility company. Matt Pacuco bought his first home in the Porter Ranch community 8 years ago because of the scenic views and his ability to work from home as a music producer.
Nice studio,
I can't work in here.
huh?
I can't breathe in here sometimes. When that wind blows off that hill, comes down that fireplace, the gas comes in here, I can't work.
The leak started in October.
Look at
So
that.
far, more than 6,500
That's
families
sick.
have filed for help, but only 2,200 have been relocated. The state agency that monitors air quality estimates nearly 70,000 pounds of gas is being released every hour. That's roughly a quarter of the methane emissions in California. SoCal gas spokesman Mike Mizrahi.
Once the leak is stopped, we'll be able to evaluate what caused the leak, and we will be able to evaluate how much natural gas escaped.
To fix the problem, the gas company drilled a relief well nearby. Using magnetic technology, workers have located the leaking well more than 3,000 feet below ground. Now they have to drill another 5,000 feet where they'll intersect the faulty well and pump it with mud, water, and cement to stop the leak. It's made Pacuco so sick he had to move out.
Frustrating for you?
Beyond frustrating. It's a new way of life now. We can't live in our homes. I mean, how worse does it get?
The leak is expected to be fixed by March, but Jeff, as a precaution, elementary students that go to 2 nearby schools will be relocated until that happens.
All right, Maria, thank you very much.
Now, guys, I mean, you see the perils that we're facing, you know, but methane is produced in all different sorts of ways. So this Cuban entrepreneur, you're going to love this. You're going to love what this guy did. So, Judy, I'll tell you, let's blow everybody away with clip number 36, and then we're going to take it one step further on the next clip. So, Judy, number 36, and guys, you got to applaud this guy. Yeah, I tell you, he's very clever. So, 36, please.
In Cuba, the farmer has devised a method of packaging biogas and giving it to his neighbors to use for cooking. His innovation has been praised by the authorities, and they're now encouraging other farmers to follow suit. Michael Foss traveled to the western province of Pinar del Rio, Cuba, to see exactly how it works.
Daniel Garcia has been using his pig manure to make organic fertilizer for years. 6 months ago, he went one step further, installing a Chinese-built biogas system to produce renewable energy as well, piping it directly to his home. It was so successful that the volume of fuel produced far exceeded his needs, but the cost of piping it to his neighbors was prohibitive. Then, at a local tomato pulp processing factory, he came across these large, hermetically sealed plastic bags. They're tough and heat-resistant, and there's no need to compress the gas. They take about half an hour to fill, and each bag provides enough energy for 2 days cooking for a family of 4.
It makes a big difference. We don't pay to cook with electricity anymore.
In the future, I would like to expand and have a larger biosystem which could also produce electricity, enough for a few hours each day for the community.
Individual projects like these can only produce a limited amount of energy, but the authorities here believe that this could become a useful model, especially for isolated rural communities. The scheme has caught the attention of local party officials and was even featured in the island's main newspaper, Granma. Now farmers from across the region are coming to see how this local gas delivery system works. Michael Voss, CCTV, Pinar del Rio, Cuba.
Guys, that's a kind of antiquated delivery system, right? But we're going to show you, I tell you, this one, guys, just blew me away. And I mean, I think that so many people are going to look at this and say, wait a minute, Wait a minute. I like this idea. So, Judy, let's prove my point with clip number 37, please. We're cooking with home biogas.
It's Thursday tradition here at Home Biogas. That means banana pancakes.
Banana pancakes?
In 2015, we launched our first Indiegogo campaign, showing the world how to turn this into this.
Turning garbage into gas.
The idea of a backyard appliance that turns organic food scraps into cooking gas was first of its kind. We were so excited to see all these people from all over the world enjoying the system. The first campaign enabled us to get home biogas to the heart of remote communities in need. People who have been cooking over firewood suddenly had clean, free energy. It was a huge step in fulfilling our vision. The amazing support inspired us to think forward. What if we could take the home biogas appliance, make it even better, and reduce its overall cost? It took us over a year. Home Biogas 2.0 is an advanced appliance that produces green, renewable energy.
Comes in two pieces.
Installation is now simpler. Just fill the digester with water.
You fill the bottom with water.
Mount the gas container using the supplied sandbags.
Put the gas
and you're ready
bag
to go.
on top.
The 2.0 version is 50% more productive, easier to maintain, and super durable.
And
We've
seal it
also
up.
added a home biogas stove to give you the perfect solution. An average family produces about 2 liters of waste a day. Why should organic waste go into giant polluting landfills when it can go back into nature? Home Biogas 2.0 can now produce up to 3 hours of cooking gas per day, more than enough for an average family. Plus, a top quality, completely organic fertilizer that goes back into the soil. Your own backyard eco-cycle. Once food waste goes in, the bacteria digest the organic material and release biogas and fertilizer. No electricity is required. It is completely safe to use, odorless, and can digest anything, from fruits and veggies to meat and dairy.
I'm here at the beautiful Home Biogas offices. Today I'm going to cook an entire meal using biogas. Let's see how it goes.
She knows what she's doing.
Using today's food waste to cook tomorrow's meal. Now that's cool.
So guys, I've been talking to Uncle Joey about this, and we did some math, and I said, Joe, if you create 3 hours of cooking time a day, if you converted that into money, how much money would that be? And Uncle Joey said, Rich, it'd be about 33 cents an hour, about $1 a day you could save just by putting your garbage into this thing. And guys, how many other people are going to feel better that they're not throwing their waste away, that's ending up in a landfill, creating methane? So they're using it, and I tell you, the next show we're going to do on this whole product, guys, because I tell you, the more videos you see, the more impressed you're going to be. And there's some downsides, but we'll get into the whole thing next week. We'll leave no stones unturned.